Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, today I'll explain about punctuation. Punctuation is a set of specific marks or symbols that show us how to structure sentences and how each sentence should be read. There are 14 punctuation marks that commonly used in English grammar. They are full stop, comma, exclamation mark, question mark, quotation marks, colon, semicolon, apostrophe, ellipsis, dash, hyphen, slash, brackets, and parentheses. Full stop. A full stop is also called a period in American English. A full stop is used at the end of declarative sentences or statements. Don't put a space before full stop. Put one after if you want to continue the sentence. For example, Kira went to the market. Full stop. Space. She bought some groceries. Full stop. Full stop also used in abbreviation. For example, etc. We write it as etc. Full stop. And the example, professor. We write it as prof. Full stop. Comma. A comma is used to separate different items in a sentence. However, it has many other uses as well. Comma is used to separate items in a list. For example, we bought oranges, comma, grapes, comma, apples, and peaches in the fruit market. We do not normally use a comma after and at the end of list of a single word, but American English does use a comma after and. Both styles are possible. A comma is used after an introductory word or phrase, such as at the end of the day, in contrast, however, etc. For example, nevertheless, comma, we managed to get home until sunset. A comma is also used to separate independent clauses when they are joined by certain conjunctions like and, but, for, or, nor, so, yet. For example, the game was over, comma, but the crowd refused to leave. Another example, the student explained her question, comma, yet the instructor still didn't seem to understand. A comma is used to separate tag questions. For example, she is smart and pretty, comma, isn't she? The last one, a comma is used to addressing someone. For example, James, comma, what are you doing after school tomorrow? Next is exclamation mark. Exclamation mark usually used after an interjection. Interjection is a word or phrase that expresses a sudden emotion, such as wow and oh. For example, ouch! Exclamation mark. My stomach hurts. Exclamation mark also used to show emphasis or emotion in a sentence. For example, there's a snake! Exclamation mark. An exclamation mark also can be used with question mark. For example, why would you do this to me? Exclamation mark, question mark. Question mark. Question mark is used after an interrogative sentence. For example, what time is it? Question mark. Quotation marks. There are two kinds of quotation marks, which is the single one and the double one. They are same, and it doesn't matter which you use. Quotation marks used when quoting what someone said. For example, he stood up and said, quotation mark, I wouldn't do it if you paid me $1 million. Quotation marks used to express irony, sarcasm, skepticism, or titles of articles, book chapters, episode of a TV show, etc. For example, in her article, quotation marks, how to succeed in everything you do, Mary Smith gives her readers 3 valuable pieces of advice. Quotation marks also used to draw attention to a word. We usually use the single quotation marks. For example, I am very disappointed by his apology. I don't think he meant it at all. We put the single quotation marks on the word apology. Colon. A colon can be used in different circumstances. It can be used to introduce an explanation, an example, and a list in a sentence. For example, she had one problem, colon, there was no way she could finish her homework in time. Another example, there are 3 main reasons for the success of the government, colon, social, political, and economic. A colon can be used to separate independent clauses. For example, they will not make it home in time, colon, the roads are very icy. The second sentence explains the first sentence. They will not make it home in time, and the reason for this is the roads are very icy. Colon can be used before direct quote. For example, she shouted, colon, get back to class. Semicolon. A semicolon is similar to a full stop. Therefore, instead of using a full stop, you can use a semicolon. However, generally, we use semicolon if the 2 sentences are closely related. For example, London is a famous city, semicolon, there are many places to visit. Apostrophe. Apostrophe is used in contractions to replace a missing letter. For example, I didn't go to school. Did not becomes didn't. Apostrophe is also used to show possession. For example, this is Maria's book. We put apostrophe S after the name Maria. It shows that the book belongs to Maria. If the name ends with an S, just put apostrophe. For example, Thomas's cat is cute. Thomas apostrophe. But you can also put apostrophe S if the name ends with an S. For example, James's car is red. James apostrophe S. Both sentences are grammatically correct. If more than one person are owners of the same noun, the last name will take the possessive form. For example, Anna and Sam's house. Sam apostrophe S. If the people are owners of the same items but individually, then both names will take the possessive form. For example, Laila's and David's dogs. Laila apostrophe S and David apostrophe S. Apostrophe used for collective nouns. Regular plural nouns generally end with an S. Therefore, we will just put apostrophe. For example, the form required both parents' signature. Parents apostrophe. Irregular plural nouns generally doesn't end with an S. Therefore, we put apostrophe S. For example, the children's play area was very colorful. Children apostrophe S. Ellipsis. Ellipsis is used to show omission or a pause in a sentence. It creates an intriguing and mysterious atmosphere in the text. In addition, it can be used to show that some letters or even words are committed. For example, ellipsis, I'm not sure. Another example, she is smart, funny, and pretty, but ellipsis, something still felt wrong. Dash. There are 2 different kinds of dash, the N dash and M dash. The N dash is slightly shorter than M dash. N dash is used to indicate a period of time, distance, and range of numbers. Think of it as to or through. For example, I had to read pages 90 to 150 for my assignment. Another example, she traveled from America to Europe. M dash can replace a comma a colon or brackets. We can write it as she is scared of two things, M dash, heights and spiders, instead of she is scared of two things, colon, heights and spiders. M dash is also used to add emphasis. For example, her answer was loud and clear. M dash, no. Hyphen. Hyphen is used to create compound words. For example, he is a very self-confident person. Self and confident are two words, and there is a hyphen to connect the two parts. Slash. Slash is used to indicate or. For example, the teacher noticed that a student had left his or her bag in class. It used to indicate a fraction. For example, for this recipe, you will need 1/2 glass of water. Slash also used to indicate per in a measurement. For example, the car was going as fast as 120 km per hour. It is used in abbreviation. For example, she turned the AC on. A/C. Brackets. Brackets come in pairs and used to add extra information. There are two kinds of brackets, which are the square brackets and the round brackets. We usually say the square brackets as brackets and the round brackets as parentheses. Parentheses used to add extra information in a sentence. For example, I went to the museum with Becky, parentheses, my best friend. The sentence should still make sense if the bracket element is removed. Square brackets mostly used in academic writing and when presenting quotes. For instance, the writer can add extra information or fix mistakes in brackets without changing the original quotation. For example, we went and had a brilliant time. This quote isn't very clear as there isn't much context. However, we can add extra information using the square brackets. We went to the theme park and had a brilliant time. You put the square brackets for to the theme park. That's all from me. Thank you.